Hello there. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to Breakfast All Day. Christy and Alonso and Matt. Hello. Are you aware that the sun is also a star?
What? And the poppy is also a flower.
There you go.
Yes.
Your mom is.
No, stop.
You already had your 2 bad jokes today. You don't get any more.
Yes, you're full up. Is this based on a YA novel?
It is indeed by Nicola Yoon, who also wrote Everything, Everything.
Okay, so it's written by Tracy Oliver, who did Little.
No, she did Girls Trip.
And she also did Little.
Oh, did she? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. And it's directed by Russo-Young.
People can do more than one thing, Christy.
But I can only tell 2 jokes.
Directed by Russo-Young, who also did Before I Fall.
That's a mitzvah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, yes. So Yara Shahidi from Grownish and Blackish and Charles Melton from Riverdale play a pair of star-crossed lovers in New York City. She is part of a Jamaican family who are having to leave the country the following day because they're being deported. He is the son of Korean immigrants who want very much for him to become a doctor, even though he's not so much into it and would rather be a poet. But that's the day that he's supposed to do his Dartmouth interview. They randomly run into each other. He saves her life. They spend a day together, and he convinces her that if given a day, he can make her fall in love with him, even though she doesn't believe in love because it's not scientific, and she is very science-minded. And it's a teen romance in a fairy tale New York, and I love the fact that, we have a beautiful teen romance with, about a black woman and an Asian guy. And there are, I think, no white speaking roles in this movie.
Oh, right, because John Leguizamo is
I don't think there are
figure.
any, which is fine. It's like this is the antithesis of a Woody Allen movie. It's New York, where it's all people of color. They're lovely, and they have great chemistry. I just wish that this movie didn't have them saying and doing such stupid stuff sometimes.
Well, they're teenagers.
It's very on the nose, though.
It is frustrating because there's a lot to like about this movie, but then it also just kind of drops the ball periodically.
And it drops the ball at the end. There is a beautiful place for this film to end, and it would have been bold and daring, but satisfying in its own way, and lovely and wistful, and then you have a coda that proceeds to ruin everything that you just saw. Yeah. Like, I almost recommend walk out, but when you see the title card that says 5 years later, like, walk out, because I feel like it's a perfect little ending. And I said to Matt, I'm like, wow, that was a perfect ending. And then it says 5 years later.
It's Endgame all over again.
And it keeps going. This is a lovely movie. And what is sneaky and interesting about it is that it's a fable about what it means to be an immigrant in America now. And it's pointedly so. I mean, she's having to go schlep down to the immigration office, and you see every kind of person also with, worried faces hoping to stay in the country. She's scrambling around town trying to do everything she can to get her file looked at by the right lawyer who might be able to help her. And there's pressure on her to do that.
As the child of immigrants who had 3 brothers and a sister who became doctors, I can attest that this is a real thing.
The pressure to become a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
You became the poet.
Oh, God. Can't you be a doctor and a film critic is a thing my father actually said to me.
Wow. Well, maybe you could now, actually.
And I said, no. I said, one could, I cannot.
You can review movies about medicine.
You are treating ill films.
That's true. What's your diagnosis?
Exactly. Murder. Diagnosis terrible.
Right. This is the kind of movie I think, and I'm glad it exists, because I think here's the thing: you see this movie when you're like 14, and you cry and you adore it, and you think it's really deep and has deep things to say about how life works, and you hold it close to your heart, and then you have a fit of nostalgia and you watch it again when you're like 27. You're like, oh wow, this is stupid, but I still have all these warm feelings about it. So I'm going to treasure it anyway. So I do not begrudge 14-year-olds their access and the existence of this movie. But if you are old enough to know that it's BS, you are old enough to know that it's BS.
No, but I would argue that it's trying not to be stupid. It has something more substantive on its mind, but it's packaged in this gauzy, dreamy New York with beautiful people, and that makes it seem fluffy and stupid, but it's got a point on its mind about what it means now to be an immigrant in this precarious time.
But I think unfortunately it gets sunk by like dialogue and control contrivances and stuff that it's like St. Elmo's Fire. I saw St. Elmo's Fire when I was an undergrad, and I was like, "Oh, that's what life after college is going to be like."
Profound,
And then you get to that age or older, and you watch it again, you're like, "Oh my God, this movie's so stupid," And so I think this is that kind of film where if it's aspirational for you, if you are not yet a high school senior, or you are a high school senior, it's the kind of movie that you watch and it presents the way that the world could be and the way that people could talk to each other and the way that people could approach real life situations in a way that seems meaningful. And then later you realize, no, this is a silly movie.
But it is swoony.
And it is very so.
And it owes a great debt to Richard Linklater's Before series.
Oh, totally.
Because they're walking and talking in the city and there's a ticking clock. And they can't be together as sparky and sweet as their romance is, and as much as they get to know each other and in an ideal world that could be together, they can't be together. It's impossible.
Yeah, that's
it's
what I was thinking of.
melancholy.
Like, this is in New York City where the two of them managed to spend the night together in a public park.
Wow, yeah.
And not get murdered or urinated on or arrested.
This is the New York City
They
in which
still have all their stuff.
Yeah. But not only does the subway actually work in this New York City, but the conductor has like the perfect poignant story to tell you about his day on 9/11, which will then hopefully, translate to what you are doing during
and you
your
can
day.
make out the words on the speaker. It's not just like
Next stop, Bedford Avenue.
I think I like this a lot more than you guys did. I thought it was sweet, and I didn't really have such an issue with all of the dialogue. I mean, look, like, it is a teen story, and they do dumb teens things. Yes, everyone's distracted because Ben's here.
Hi, Ben.
Yeah, I had a good time in this, and I found myself just really, really charmed by this movie. I thought the cast is really charming. They have great chemistry, and that worked past a lot of the flaws for me because it moves along quick enough. It takes these little sidetracks as to, it gives you a couple seconds on why, like the whole thing about like why his dad owns the wig store.
Oh yeah,
I love that
like
part.
That was a great little bit. Like there's little bits of that peppered in here and there, and it is very much just this dreamy, fictional New York. I had a great time. I'm totally there with you with the ending though.
Oh my God.
Ending, like, boy, do they drop the ball. Like it could have been I think
girls like to cry. Why not let them cry? Why do you have to give them this ending that like wraps everything up in a nice bow?
Right. It's almost like I don't know how the book ends, but it's almost like they focus grouped it and people didn't like the ending, so they had to tack on a nice happy ending. Also, there's a beautiful scene in a karaoke lounge where he's singing to her, and the way the lights play on her face, it's almost like a Wong Kar-wai movie, like the deeply jewel-toned lighting.
And the best part of this movie is the montage that happens during that sequence where she sort of imagines what a life together with this guy might look like. That is, you're right. It is very Wong Kar-wai, and it is that's the moment of this film that is the takeaway, I think. So I mean, I'm not mad at this movie, and I'm, like I said, I'm glad it exists, and I think its target demographic is going to eat it up like tapioca. But I think I'm too old and jaded and cynical to really
open your
sign
heart.
on it. But again, if I were 14, I would be all up in it.
And he's very handsome. The first time you see him, he's shirtless and you get to see his abs. So if you're a fan of Reggie on Riverdale.
Yeah, he is very lippy and very absy, and the movie lets you know that right away. And
they're both beautiful. They both have no pores.
And as has been, there's been a discussion about this on my Facebook page, like, we don't get a lot of Asian male leads in romance movies in this country. We certainly don't get a lot of like sexually idealized Asian male leads, and we don't get a lot of Asian black love stories. So hooray for all that. I'm pro that for sure.
And yet your number is
6.
As is mine. I'm also saying 6.
I give it a 7.5 because I like love.
We're cold and cynical. So a 6.5 from us. It's at 50% on the tomato meter, and it's been a lot lower than that for a while now.
No, it's not that bad. Go see it.
I agree. It's very sweet.
If you're the demo, check it out. And hey, thanks for checking us out. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and go visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. That's where you'll get access to exclusive subscriber content like our Game of Thrones recaps, the Fosse Verdon recaps, our upcoming Big Little Lies Season 2 recaps, trailers, all kinds of other things. So check it out. Thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.